about your journey, your career journey, and how you ended up in law?
The reason I originally thought about law was that my father was a tax accountant for what is now Ernst & Young, and he was very keen that I should follow in his footsteps, and I decided very early on I didn't want to do that. So I thought about what would be acceptable to him in terms of profession. And so I came up with the idea of being a lawyer, not really knowing anything about it. One of the main reasons for choosing Clifford Chance was that even back in 1979, when I was applying, I was interviewed by a female partner, and that was the only one of the interviews where that was possible. And then I think the seminal moment and how I got into financial institutions was that I was sort of coming up for being considered for a partnership after about 6 years qualified, and one of the partners said to me, you know, you're not going to make it as a corporate finance partner because investment bankers don't deal with women. So that was quite a shock, but luckily I've been developing an interest in insurance, and then at age 38 I was pregnant with twins. So took a fairly long maternity leave, and then when I came back I said, I don't think I can really run two practices and deal with the family commitments, and so I decided to focus on the insurance practice, which had its moments of challenge, but I think I was in a fortunate position because by that stage I'd embedded my practice and career, and although I was a bit older and therefore possibly had less energy, it meant I could devote a bit more time to family matters. That doesn't mean to say you don't feel guilty from time to time. I think that just comes with the role. Sometimes you feel you're not doing enough for the office, sometimes you feel you're not doing enough for the family, but I think having a sort of good attitude to it, not getting too stressed about it, realising that sometimes one will have to take precedence, and then when work is quiet, making sure you spend more time with the family. I think that's a sort of practical way of dealing with it. And I guess one thing that I'm really pleased about is that one of my daughters has decided to become a lawyer. So despite seeing the reality of her mother having to not be there at various times, she's decided to go and do the same thing.
How important is representation in the law to you?
I think it's really important, and it probably goes beyond gender representation. And having been a minority person within the firm for the early part of the career, I think it made it easier to apply that diverse approach when I had the, if you like, the power and influence to do so. And I think we did succeed at a time when diversity and inclusion wasn't really being talked about. We succeeded in building a team that was genuinely diverse, sort of ethnic diversity, background, gender, and I've been surprised at the number of comments from alumni about how unusual that was within the firm at the time, but also how much they appreciated it.
And that's definitely something that I've appreciated being in the group, how diverse everyone has been, and just that mix of people, as you said. And do you think there's certain initiatives outside of what we've done in the group, at Clifford Chance, for example, or that you think are really making an impact to bring that diversity together?
I think there are lots of initiatives, and I think there does have to be a positive focus on it from the top. I mean, for example, when I was a sort of mid-ranking associate, which was many years ago, the focus on gender issues was very much women who have children want to work part-time, so we have to make that available to them. And that was well-meaning, and it was trying to encourage female lawyers to stay in the firm, but it was sort of taking for granted that that's what they wanted. But I think now there's been a positive focus on it, and targets have been set, and people are taking it really seriously. And it's not just across the partnership as a whole, it's across the senior leadership within the partnership, which I think is a more recent development. And once you have diversity amongst the senior leadership, then you move away from this position of we're all the same and we want to employ and we want to retain people who are like us, because you inevitably have a diverse panel of people thinking about hiring and retention and promotions and so on. So it almost helps to fulfill the diversity requirement because you have diversity amongst the decision makers.
And if you were to give one top tip to anybody looking to become a partner in a city law firm, what would it be?
Well, one is challenging. I've got it down to two, apart from the obvious, which is you need to work hard and be prepared to work hard, and you need to find an area of law that you're really enthusiastic about. But apart from that, my two top tips would be, firstly, try and get outside your comfort zone. Be a partner, you need some very broad and diverse skills, and you also need to be comfortable with facing challenges that you're not expecting. So I think learning to get out of your comfort zone and do new things and say yes to things that actually the first time you think about it you think, I don't really enjoy doing this, the better, because it makes you a more flexible individual. It makes you more able to grasp opportunities as they arise, and it means that you'll have a can-do attitude rather than I'd rather not do this because I haven't done it before. And I think that's critical for a partner. And then the second tip would be networking is important. And there's lots of different networking. There's internal and external. It's good for intelligence gathering, so you get to know more about your clients, more about the sector that you're working in. It's good for raising your profile, actually getting out there and talking to people, and seeing that they're enthusiastic about what you do. And it's good for support as well, so you feel a little less alone as you rise up the ranks, is quite important.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for your time and your insights today.